So a lot of people have been dogging the Browns pretty intensely this entire off season. Even though that they have decent pieces, and even I in a previous thing, I had them finishing fourth in that very difficult AFC North division. But when you really get more in depth with it, and you really look at the roster, I mean, they got everything that you would really want in a Super Bowl team. You have a defensive front that is probably going to be a top five defensive front in the league. You have Myles Garrett on one side, Zadarius Smith on the other. That's going to wreak havoc against anybody. You have a shutdown corner in Denzel Ward. You have Greg Newsome, who is first round pick a few years ago, kind of coming into his own on the defensive side. And then offensively, you have just, a great sustainable O-line. Always seems to be, top 10, top 5. You have, a former number one, and, he still is considered number one, would be a number one on a lot of teams, and Amari Cooper. Got kind of a gadget guy. Every team needs one of those to win a Super Bowl. Elijah Moore. And you have Donovan Peoples-Jones, who has been, if you look at his numbers, he's been a solid number 2 receiver. And then you go to the running back, who a lot of people have, including me, as the best running back in the league in Nick Chubb. And then you go into Deshaun Watson. And yeah, last year he looked a little rusty. But, a lot of people forget, he went 3-3. I mean, he went 500 in those games. Did he play the best competition? No, maybe not really. But if you really look at it, he went 3-3, went 500. So what I did is I went back and I looked at his tape from last year. And I was looking at it, I was like, this is, as rusty as he was, still looks a lot better than Baker. Looks like an above average quarterback to me. And I think that's the biggest thing that people are, getting wrong about this Cleveland Browns team. I think it starts with the quarterback. A lot of people do not like his off-the-field issues, and obviously bad stuff, very bad stuff. But, sometimes in sports, you have to block that out, and you have to look at just the player as a whole. Now, some people can't do that. That's fine. I understand that. I get that. I completely understand that. But, if you want to take a second, theoretically, block everything else out, just look at the player himself. 2019, this guy had a 24-0 lead on the soon-to-be Super Bowl champions Kansas City Chiefs in the divisional round. He had them on the ropes. They win that game, who knows? He could be a Super Bowl quarterback right now. They were a playoff team. I looked at his tape 2019. He looked insane. And then people forget the year after, in 2020, he led the NFL in passing yards. Without DeAndre Hopkins, who they had just traded, now that they win 4 games, Jens was, crumbling, and he didn't have his biggest weapon. They made a terrible trade. The head coach got fired a few games in. The season was a wash. But still, he led the league in passing. So now we have these people coming in here saying that he's no good anymore, when just two and a half seasons ago, he led the league in passing without maybe a true number 1 receiver. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy to say that when you look at the numbers and you even go back and look at the tape. I was watching First Take, and I saw Chris Broussard on one side and Nick Wright, and he gave this take that, Sean Watson's done. Sean Watson, he put up these numbers, and he tried to compare him with Baker Mayfield. Guys, if you think that Deshaun Watson and Baker Mayfield are anywhere similar to the same level of talent at quarterback in the NFL, you do not know sports. You do not know football at all. If you think that is even close. Can Baker be a solid quarterback sometimes? Yes. But Deshaun Watson can just extend and make plays out of script, and Baker can't do that. Baker's a good quarterback when it's 2nd and 3 because Nick Chubb has gotten him 7 yards and there's no pressure on him because they're worried about the run, not the pass. When he's backed up and it's 3rd and 11, they know he's passing, pretty garbage quarterback. Sean Watson can make plays happen. He can get out of the pocket. He can do stuff. So just diverting from that, if he gets back into that category of where he was, if he's even half of what he was the 2019 or 2020 season, is it crazy to say that this Browns team could take the division? Is it that crazy? When you look at the roster, look at the roster. They have the best running back in the league. They have one of the best pass rushers in the league. They have an elite shutdown corner. They have one of the best O-lines in the NFL. Amari Cooper is a solid receiver. Is it that crazy? They're better than people think. They're better than people are giving them credit for.